Hey guys, I have some very exciting news for you. I have just finished the first draft of Chapter 2 of Project Prehistorica. The main reason it took me so long was because of, laziness, but I'm back now with the first draft of the second chapter. Now, just like last time, this is just the first draft, which means it is open for any criticisms or changes you may have about this story. If there's anything you'd like me to add, remove, or change, please feel free to let me know, and I will try my best to work it into the chapter. But without further ado, this is the rough draft of the second chapter of my Project Prehistorica novel. I hope you enjoy. Project Prehistorica, Chapter 2. Robert entered the portal and found himself in the late Cretaceous period. It was just days before the catastrophic event that would make the dinosaurs go extinct. The air was humid and the climate was warmer than what Robert was used to. Along the way, he saw many beautiful dinosaurs such as the Triceratops, Parasaurolophus, Ankylosaurus, Troodon, and of course the Tyrannosaurus rex. Judging by the species that lived in this area, Robert came to the conclusion that he was in what would be North America 65 million years later. Then he heard a rumble, and he felt the ground shake. Robert looked over and saw a terrible sight. The volcano was preparing to erupt. He knew that he needed to work fast and collect as many species as he could. However, there was a slight problem. How am I going to transport all of these specimens to the present day onto planet Magnus? Robert thought to himself. Then he had an idea. He took out his kit and took out a needle. I will take a sample of each specimen's DNA so I can create my own dinosaurs and then transport them onto Magnus, Robert concluded. He then began to extract blood samples from various species with the needles and then put them back in his bag. However, this was easier said than done, and Robert had to sneak up on the dinosaurs in order to extract their blood. He spent the next couple of days getting blood samples from each specimen, and so far he had studied and gathered DNA from every specimen here, all but one. Redwood still needed a sample from his greatest challenge yet, the Tyrannosaurus rex. Finding one wasn't that hard. Robert managed to find a lone tyrannosaur sleeping in a cave. Now came the hard part. Collecting the blood sample without waking the sleeping giant. Robert crept slowly forward towards the dinosaur and he began to collect the DNA from the creature. He managed to extract enough DNA and quietly made his way out of the cave. Robert was almost out of the cave when he accidentally kicked a small rock. He closed his eyes hoping that the T-Rex didn't hear him. Luckily, the dinosaur didn't, and it just continued to slumber. Robert let out a sigh of relief, but no sooner did he do that, the dinosaur's eyes opened right up and looked right at the man. "Oh, crap," Redwood said quietly, as he slowly backed away. The dinosaur looked right at him, and Robert had to admit that it was an honor standing right in front of the king of the dinosaurs. That didn't last long, however, as the T-Rex let out a loud roar, sending Robert in a panic and running for his life. The creature chased him down and he thought he was done for. The Tyrannosaur managed to corner Redwood and was about to finish him when there was a rumble that was louder than before. Robert looked, and sure enough, the volcano was getting ready to erupt. The T-Rex saw this too and retreated back into the jungle, sparing Robert's life. Robert quickly grabbed the samples and rushed back towards the portal. It was a long way back, and by the time he reached the portal, the volcano had erupted. Robert managed to go through the portal just in time and brought the samples back to the present day safely. Phew! "That was a close one," he exclaimed. "But now what am I going to do with all these samples?" Robert decided to create an incubator and some synthesized eggs, and he injected the DNA inside the eggs, fertilizing them and turning them into dinosaur eggs. Now came the time-consuming part of waiting for the eggs to hatch. "I know, I'll go to another time period in the meantime," Robert exclaimed. He then jumped back into the portal, which landed him in the Ice Age. "Brrr," he shivered. "It's really cold. Good thing I brought my fur coat." And Robert put on the coat. Now Robert was going to do the same method he did when he was in the Cretaceous period. He quickly got to work and studied as many species as he could. He then snuck up on each specimen and extracted their blood samples. It took the entire day to go through all of the species that lived in this cold region 10,000 years ago, but he managed to collect the DNA samples from almost every specimen. Robert had one more specimen left, and that was the woolly mammoth. He found a herd of these pachyderms grazing in the snowy plains. He quietly snuck up behind a mammoth and extracted its DNA. However, unlike the T-Rex, the mammoth was a much more difficult task. Just as he was almost finished with the creature, another mammoth detected him and alerted the others. Soon Robert was met with a stampede of angry pachyderms. He knew there was only one thing to do in this situation, and that was to run. He barely managed to escape the herd and traveled back to his time. He quickly closed the portal so no one could escape, and spent the next 10 minutes trying to catch his breath. "This is going to be a long and hard process," Robert thought to himself. He then continued to go to various time periods and bring back DNA samples. A few weeks pass, and Redwood has collected DNA samples from at least 100 different prehistoric species. The specimens had either hatched from their eggs or gestated into baby mammals, and now it was time to ship them to the planet. Robert had built a wormhole that would allow the specimens to travel to Magnus faster, and with that, he sent the specimens off to the planet. Robert couldn't help but smile in awe, as his dream was in the process of coming true. He then turned on his cameras, and the experiment had officially begun. Hey guys, thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. It would really help out a ton. Also, feel free to let me know if you want me to add anything in, change anything, or remove anything from this story, for this is only the rough draft. I will acknowledge any criticisms you may have, and I will try to work them into the story somehow. But until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. So long!